So a lot of times talk about playing over the changes recently, and something I love just using a 1 to 4, especially minor. So we're just doing A minor to D minor, okay? And I was working with a private student, which I love so much because everybody has such an interesting way of improvising over whatever it is that we're improvising over, and kind of pinpointing some fallbacks, some things that we all do that it's almost like a safety, you know, that we don't realize we're doing a little bit too much. I do it all the time as well. I love kind of like reviewing my own solos and realizing what I'm doing. So once we start getting into playing over the changes, and one very, very easy way is, so I have a backing track right here, pretty simple backing track. It's just A minor to D minor, is really visualizing these notes, okay? And if you're using the number system, which I teach in the program that I have, it does get a little bit easier because you can play your natural minor scale, okay, and then that idea of the 1, flat 3, 5. Anytime you get to a 1, a flat 3, and a 5 up this whole scale, those notes are very, very keen for the first chord. Now, anytime you get to a 4, a flat 6, and then back to the 1, the root note, those are going to help express the 4 chord a little bit better, right? Especially this flat 6, right? So if I just count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's my flat 6, right? 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's my flat 6. 7, and I apologize if I'm going a little fast, but this is kind of like a precursor getting into what I do want to talk about. Now, if I put this on really quickly, right, it's 2 measures of A minor, 2 measures of D minor, right? And I'm going to try to tackle these changes using something pretty simple. Got that for my D, that for my D, those 2 notes for my A, and that for my D again, that flat 6, right? That's what I'm saying, and that is a great way to start. When we start getting into the next level, which is really what I wanted to talk about in this video, so I just wanted to give like a quick overview of sort of playing over the changes, is now purposefully not using the notes in the chord. Okay, so what I mean by that is I came right in when it was 1, 2, 3 for the A minor. I mean, that's nice and easy. It's just those two notes are in the chord, and I just sort of walked right down to them, right? That really fits over that A minor. Now I can change that, and I'm going to give a little bit more of attention. If I did, right, that slide in on, now it's kind of rubbing up against that A, you know, it's close to the A minor, not quite, and then, so I'm using notes that are outside of the chord. Now, what really works in my ear is that idea of the second scale degree, and then kind of moving down, you know, down to the root note, or even up to the flat 3. And then sort of back down, you know. Same thing if I get to this. If I get to the 4 chord, right? I didn't come right in for that 4 chord into the flat 6. I came in on that 5, which doesn't fit over the 4 chord. That's actually the second tone for the 4 chord. And then I even started framing it a little bit, right? Kind of hitting like both sides of that note. So now, once you start really getting used to playing over simple changes, using some of these notes outside to address that you're building just a little bit more pull into wanting those notes, right? And there's nothing wrong with not playing that way. It was just with this particular student, we were really getting into this sort of idea of playing over the changes. And one thing was, on the one of every single measure was a chord tone, and it will start to sound a little bit more monotonous. Now, not as monotonous as always what usually happens, like is just riffing around in the scale and always kind of landing on the root note. That's just going to be like the biggest thing to pull away from is not always ending your phrase on the root note or starting on the one and on the root note. So just another idea. I know I've talked about some ways to make your solos a little bit more interesting. So playing around with some ideas. Let me see if I had like a major. I don't know if I can get. Let me see if I can get an A major. I'm not sure if this is gonna work, but I'd love to show you. Let's see. We could even do this. Right? I don't know what the heck this is going to sound like, but it's apparently in D major. So already I have an idea of how I'm going to tackle this. I know it's telling me the chord changes. It's an ad right now. It's telling me the chord changes: D major to B minor, G to A. Right? So I've got a pretty good idea of what we're dealing with here. Simple, but I had a solid idea. Now, I didn't really know what the track was going to end up being like, but I started right in on that D on the 6. Right, to me, the 6 is a little bit more pleasant sounding. It can kind of pull us down into the 5 of that D chord, right? So if that's my D chord, sort of have this. It's a little tensive. We're in a major key. So some of the tension resolve is a little bit less, a little bit less tense. And then I knew that B minor was coming. Now that's a B, right? So I kind of have that for D. Starting in on the 6, resting on the 5 for the D chord, and then, which I think I did the second time around, right? So I start on that B. And you're almost expecting it to go down, but it's a B minor now. And then kind of like starting there, that's just straight down the G major, B, A to G, or 3, 2, 1 as far as the G is concerned, and then ending on the A for my A. So just some ideas of how to start your solos, whether you want to play directly against the chords only using chord tones, whether you sort of want to start bringing in some seconds and sixths to see how they are, depending on what key color you're kind of playing in. But this was just a big thing, because this particular student is really moving along very quickly, and just kind of sticking to this like almost very playing over the changes, but mathematically. Now it's almost like that idea of like you learn the rules and then learn how to break them. Just some really, really cool stuff to think about as you guys are improvising and seeing what works. Because I found for a major, that 6 to the 5, I just, that's why I love that sound. And for a minor, that minor sort of works as a 9 into the root note. So some ideas, guys. I wanted to throw something out here on Monday. Let me know if that information worked. I try to pull some stuff, since I can't see you guys face to face and have one-on-one lessons. I try to pull some stuff from some of the lessons that I have that I find beneficial. Thank you, guys.